Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not an old tool is still worth your money in 2022. The tool we're going to be talking about is the previous king of the DeWalt Impact drivers, the DCF 887. Now this one has been out since 2015, but recently DeWalt has come out with two new impact drivers. And we've got one of them here today, the DCF 850, the new Atomic Impact driver, and we're going to compare the two and decide if that previous XR Impact is still worth your money or if you should consider one of the newer offerings. So let's get into that here on Tinker with Tools. Alright, before we get into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to keep seeing more great content for us. Now, as I mentioned, we are talking today about the DeWalt XR Impact driver, model number DCF 887. Now, this impact driver has been on the market since 2015, as I mentioned, and previously it was the most powerful offering that you had. You had some others that were right below it that had some good options on it, good power, but they weren't the king of the DeWalt lineup. Now, recently, they've come out with the new Atomic Impact driver, and as I get into the specs today, you let me know if you see something familiar. Now, when it comes to power, as I mentioned, this is a 3-speed impact driver. In that top speed, DeWalt has quoted us 1,825 inch-pounds of torque, 3,250 RPMs, and 3,800 impacts per minute. Now, when I go over the new DCF 850, in speed 3, you've got 1,825 inch-pounds of torque, 3,250 RPMs, and 3,800 impacts per minute. So on paper, these two impacts are going to give you the exact same performance, but one is vastly smaller. So let's go over the pros and cons to both and review those today. Now with the 887, what you're getting is a tried and true platform. It's not that common for a top-of-the-line tool to be on the market for 7 straight years. Most companies have gone through 1 or 2 models in that time frame. And there's a reason why DeWalt's still around. It may not be considered to be the best impact on the market, but it's reliable and will get the job done and is a proven platform. Now when it comes to the pros for the new Atomic, smaller definitely has its benefits in certain situations. You're going to be able to get into tighter places, you're carrying less weight around, and when you pair it with those newer battery options, you can get a really nice compact tool to get the job done with still the same power that you're getting from the bigger tool. So now what are the cons to the 887? Well, as I mentioned, it is not the smallest on the market, it is not the most powerful on the market, it is not the fastest on the market. Pretty much the only thing I can think of where it truly has some class-leading performance is going to be that tri-beam LED that really lights up your work area. It does have good balance and feels pretty good when you use it, but you're not going to be the fastest person on there. Now another con to the 887 is there's potentially a new XR Impact driver coming out later this year. We've seen some leaked images on the internet that make it look a little bit more like the size of the new DCF 840 over at Lowe's. And are you going to be able to get a much better impact later this year with better specs and more power that's going to have the same reliability as this 887? Cons for the 850, it's not yet a proven tool. Let's see it in a couple of years and see if it's still able to hold its own against some of those top competitors. So today we're going to run a couple of side-by-side comparisons so you can see how each one works. We'll have a timer up on the screen and you can be the judge of which one is going to get the job done better for you. We're also going to run through our gauntlet, and later we're going to show you our impact driver rank chart. It's going to help you decide which one runs through this series of tests with more speed and precision out of all the impact drivers we've tested so far. Alright, so first today we are going to go with a 3/4 inch speed bore bit from Irwin, and we're going to be running this first in the XR. We do have a fully charged 5 amp hour battery, and we are running this in speed 3. Go! Alright, now the same test with the new Atomic. Also running a 5 amp hour battery, fully charged. in speed 3. Ready, set, go. So between the two, so far, this one felt a little bit faster, but the numbers will be on the screen. All right, now on to the 7/8 inch Daredevil bit from Bosch, going first with the 887. All right, now the 7/8 inch Daredevil in the new Atomic. And now we just have a 1/2 inch standard wood drill bit with the 1/4 inch hex shank. We're going to do 1 hole each. First the 887. Alright, now the Atomic. So there it almost felt like the Atomic was impacting more. The XXR almost just seemed to want to spin at times. Usually a sign where you've got sufficient power to make the hole without needing the impact. Alright, so first let's go ahead and grab some measurements on these, some weight. First the 887 with a 5 amp hour battery. Going to come in at 3 pounds, 7.48 ounces. And then the new Atomic, supposed to be smaller. We are actually coming in at 3 pounds, 8 ounces. So there you have it. The Atomic is actually a little bit heavier than the old XR. If you take a look at them side by side, it's also going to be a little bit wider, but you can see it is noticeably shorter than the 887. First the 887. Ready, set, go. Now with the Atomic DCF 850. Ready, set, go. Alright, so there you have it. We put both of them through their paces. If I'm being honest, I think through the initial test, I would have given the crown here to the DCF 850, the new Atomic. It just felt faster when drilling through those holes. And although drilling is not one of the main tasks of an impact driver and one of the main reasons to get one, I think it does illustrate the power and or speed that it's able to obtain. And then in the Gauntlet, even though the times may say otherwise, it honestly felt pretty even. This one maybe felt just a little bit slower, almost if it was working just a little bit harder, but I really couldn't tell you which one won that without looking at the times or in the video when I'm doing the edit. So when it all comes down to it, I think this is just going to be a matter of preference. If you're at the hardware store and you can get a good deal on the new Atomic, I think it'll work well for you. If you're going to be looking at the XR and there's a good deal on that one, I think that one's fine too. It'll be interesting to see what they do later in the year with that new XR and see how it stacks up against these and what improvements they've made and what they've done with the last 7 years of research and development. Obviously, some of it went into making this the smallest impact driver on the market, and they listened and they came up with a great tool that's capable of a lot of stuff. But when you see leaks of the new XR Impact, it actually has more the shape of this. So is there something longevity-wise that they know is going to be here? I think when it comes down to your money, either one of these is still going to serve you well. And the only reason I would say maybe wait for that new XR is if you're using this every day to make money with it, it might be worth waiting. If you're a casual DIYer doing some home improvements, either one of these is going to be a good option, and I say go where the deal is. Thanks for watching Tinkro Tools. Stick around for future episodes where we're going to actually see how this stacks up now against that new 840 at Lowe's and see what we can come up with. And until next time, you go have fun in the shop.